So, good morning, America. Good evening, Africa. My name is Neema Mleli, and I'm the Executive Director for Global Chamber Tanzania. And I'm happy to moderate our webinar today on unlocking the business opportunities in Tanzania and Zanzibar. We'll be having a presentation from Godfrey Mondi, who is also a GA for Tanzanian Chamber, but a senior trade and investment analyst. I'd like to welcome you all, and Mondi, if you're ready, please. You're welcome to start.
Okay, hello everyone. Again, as I've been introduced, my name is Godfrey Mondi. I'm a senior specialist for trade and investment at TPSF. TPSF is the Tanzania Private Sector Federation. It represents the interest of the private sector in Tanzania. I will turn on my video in a bit as soon as I start sharing my screen. And again, Neema, thank you so much for the invitation, and it's a great honor to be part of this conversation and to discuss about the investment partnerships and tender-related opportunities and pathway available in Tanzania, which includes Tanzania mainland and also Tanzania Zanzibar. We should make the confusion, not make the confusion, because Zanzibar is part of Tanzania, and therefore Tanzania, there is no Tanzania without Zanzibar. There is no Tanzania without the mainland. So Neema, just in a minute, I will share my screen. I'm not very good at preparing presentations, but most of the information I would speak them verbally because of because I think that's my strength. And like yep. Okay. Wow. So yes, hello everybody. Hope you can now see my screen. Hello.
Yes, we can see.
Yes, we can see that. Don't worry, just go ahead.
I was worried. I was wondering maybe I'm alone now. So yes, as Neema introduced me. Oh, what? Wow, Jesus. Yes. So I don't know how many minutes do I have, Neema?
You can go to 15 to 20. No.
Wow. Talk about the entire Tanzania, which is a 900,000 square.
No problem. You just have as much time as you have.
Square kilometers. Yeah, that's okay. 15 minutes it's more than enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, my name is Godfrey Mondi, and as you can see on my screen, on our screen, on our right, that's a map for what we call Tanzania, and I would like to assume that you have heard of Tanzania since you know Neema. Therefore, we know that Tanzania is also surrounded by 8 countries, 6 are landlocked. As you can see on the map, you have Uganda, which is landlocked, Burundi, Rwanda,
Can you
DRC.
go back to the map? You are in the second slide. The map is in the first slide.
Oh, so what are you seeing now? What do you see?
I see your bio.
Oh, just a second again. Just a second. So yeah, Mashkoro. Now?
Now it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll be quick. So Tanzania has is bordered by, as I said earlier, 8 landlocked countries, 8 total countries in terms of countries. That's Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi. But out of and Mozambique, Zambia, Malawi. Out of these 6 are landlocked, are majorly landlocked. In exclusion of DRC, which has a port on the other side, but it's too far and too narrow to get its consignment and services through that port in the Atlantic Ocean. So oftentimes DRC relies on the port of Dar es Salaam, which is Tanzania, and port of Mombasa to ship in and out its shipments, which means is either importing or exporting. And sometimes it's also DRC it's a massive land. Sometimes DRC gets its goods through the port of Beira in Mozambique or Durban in South Africa. So if you have South Africans understand this port, these trends. But yes, Tanzania is no. Wow, what's happening? Uh, so I will now use this as a guide just to save time. Tanzania is a member of several international and regional bodies on trade and investment. It's a member and has ratified instruments for the WTO, World Trade Organization. It is also a member of international commercial dispute settlement bodies. It's also a member of the East Africa Community, which now has 8 member states, including Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, DRC, Sudan, and the Republic of Somalia. It's a massive region with over 400 million people as citizens, but also as a potential market for whoever want to invest and make money in this region. Our GDP is $75 billion, and with a total GDP per capita of somewhere around GDP per capita. No, that's more details, but somewhere around 2,000, 1,000 to 400 per individual. Tanzania is a member of the SADC, Southern Africa Development Cooperation, which has over 17 member states, somewhere around that, or 26 member states. Currently, the SADC is on the free trade area. It's yet to be a custom union, so they have zero import duty when trading among themselves for product that qualifies as made in any SADC member states. On that front, Tanzania trade very well with Southern African countries, including South Africa. We have a positive trade relation with South Africa. Our export to South Africa is somewhere around $1 billion, and our import from South Africa is somewhere around 600,000. The same thing with the EAC. Tanzania trade very much with DRC, Congo, DRC, Burundi, and Kenya. With all of these member states, by that last year, Tanzania had a positive trade relations. Now, I will go to the next slide and I will invite you to Zanzibar. I've spoken much generally as Tanzania because, again, when I was speaking about Tanzania, I included Zanzibar as well. But now I'll tell you specifically about Zanzibar. Zanzibar has a population of, oh, no, this is a population of the United Republic of Tanzania, but Zanzibar specifically has a population of 2 million people. And you can choose to invest in Zanzibar in its major sectors, economic sectors, which includes tourism and hospitality, but also the other sector that I'm imagining, which means that has to do with light manufacturing, textile, and beverage. And I'll talk further about the textile industry because it's an emerging sector and it's an easy sector to invest in globally, and one can easily make money out of that sector. There are emerging investment opportunity in Zanzibar. That's in the real estate, colleges, and training institution for tourism and hospitality. Both Zanzibar and mainland have a common currency, that's Tanzanian shilling. At the moment, the exchange rate between Tanzanian shilling and the US dollar is somewhere around 2,600. $1 is equivalent to 2,600 Tanzanian shilling. It's stable, but not as it's stable, but it's also not as strong as, for example, a rand or any other major currencies in the region. But that has its own advantage when you're importing commodities from another country become expensive in Tanzania, while when you export, you can make more money because of the exchange rate. There's a common language in Tanzania that applies to Zanzibar, that's Swahili, but there's a large population of Zanzibar speak Arabic, and in the mainland entirely we speak Swahili. It's a lingua franca, uniting over 120 20 ethnic group. I'll skip these details. I will share the presentation for us to have an in-depth understanding of what Tanzania is and Zanzibar means to the rest of it. But I'll go back to the one of the slides, this one, and to highlight Tanzania trade patterns with the rest of the world. If you are so Tanzania import and export, our export is total is estimated to be 7 billion Tanzanian shilling, while our import is 14 billion Tanzanian shilling. However, we trade more with these 10 countries, as you can see on this screen, and each country presents more opportunities, unique opportunities. So you have China as our major import countries of China, UAE, India, Saudi Arabia, Japan. Then you have South Africa, Kenya, the United States, Russia, and Korea. But our major export market, you have India, South Africa, UAE, Switzerland, China, DRC, Kenya, Burundi, Singapore. There are other European countries such as Belgium, will come on the list, and German, but also other African countries such as Malawi and Zambia. Now, with this kind of a trend, this is what I will skip these other details. Now, allow me to talk about other imagining opportunities in Tanzania. Because I've been asked to talk about to basically focus on the three main components. That's tender, investments, and also Nema can remind me, tender, investment, and partnerships. So you have tender. So in Tanzania, public procurement itself, for example, accounts for somewhere around 61% of the total government budget, which is equivalent to 10 billion Tanzanian shilling, billion dollars every year. And this procurement excludes salaries and other recurring expenditures. And the $10 billion is usually announced, it's accessible by the entire public. You can bid from wherever you are and win a tender to supply, construct, service, rehabilitate, or any other service. Now, it's a huge market. $10 billion. It's a huge market. It's close to the net worth of the Tanzanian or the African richest man, Aiko Dangote. It's yeah, it's close to one third of Dangote's net worth each year. So this covers projects such as roads construction, government buildings, public schools and hospitals, but also any other infrastructures. Currently, the government of Tanzania has made some opportunities available to the private sector, which are available through public-private partnerships. For example, there is what it's on the trend now, the standard gauge railway. The government has released what they call open access regulations that invites private sector to invest in utilizing the existing infrastructures. That means the rails from Dar es Salaam. You can see below there's a map down here on the right. So the current construction of the port or the SGR is from Dar es Salaam to far west of Tanzania, that's Kigoma, we connect to Rwanda, Burundi, and later to DRC through the Lake Tanganyika. This is 1,400 kilometers long of railway. Private sector are invited to bring in electric multiple units, EMUs, and cargo wagons to start shipping and transporting cargo from the port of Dar es Salaam to these other major stations that are on the way, and finally later to Mwanza. It's a region on northwest that connects to Uganda. Uganda is our third major trading partner in the EAC, accounting for $300 million of trade annually. And therefore, there are immense opportunity to trade with Uganda. Again, you have DRC on the other side, which again, our trade relations with DRC is somewhere around $400 million every year. So again, there's an opportunity now to ship commodities and products both ways. For example, DRC has a lot of copper, and most of its copper is either shipped through Port of Dar es Salaam or Port of Beira, that's Mozambique, or Durban. But nonetheless, the consumption that we are shipping now, it still requires more private sector investment to ensure there's efficiency and effectiveness. Therefore, people are making money in this industry. You can come into Tanzania and set up a logistical company just with few trucks, three to five trucks. You can be a strategic investor, then start shipping or moving cargo from a port of Dar es Salaam to Kigoma, to DRC, Burundi, and Uganda, or invest in the electrical multiple units through the SGR, which becomes cheaper to move cargo from across these four major countries. We have local private sector that have expressed interest to invest in this in the SGR, to bring in the EMUs, but also the cargo wagons. They are available for joint venture if whoever is interested, and we could provide such connections. Again, depending on the sectors, depending on the sector that you want to invest, Tanzania still provides multiple opportunities. Again, for example, again on the tender, there is a specific regulations in Tanzania that demands, for example, all public procuring entity to allocate 30% of their annual budget to special groups. Now, special group that includes women, youth, and people with disability. So if you're a woman from wherever you are, you could partner with another woman in Tanzania and bid for government tender, and a priority will be given to such company that are submitted the bid. If you prove that that company is owned by either a woman, or youth or young man or woman, young man or lady. Now, our definition for youth is not more than 34 years of age. Nema, you are not in that category, but you could qualify a woman. So yes, again, on the tender, there are a lot of information, but we can discuss, you can ask questions, and I'll respond. There are specific legislation that governing this. There's a specific page that I have attached here that highlights the government institutions that are purely responsible for procurement and tenders. There is number 10. You have public procurement regulatory authority. I'll share these links and document. You have access to these. There is the PPP Center and its act. I've attached the links. You can access anytime you want to make reference. After that, I'll talk about other investment opportunities now available in Tanzania. Again, if we did not introduce ourselves, so I'm not sure we are from which nationalities, most of us, but I'll tell you that Tanzania has an immense opportunities in the agricultural sector. These data are available online. For instance, Africa every year spends somewhere around $50 billion importing food products. $50 billion. And our major importing countries are in the North and Western Africa. And then we have DRC that imports most of its food because of the political instability. So $50 billion needs private sector and individuals to tap into that market. You can produce and export to any African country. And with specifically the Africa Continental Free Trade Area that we have. Last week, if I recall, it was last week or early this week, I had a colleague from Nigeria, I think, or Ghana, who submitted about the AFCFTA and policy framework that is available. So under the AFCFTA, you can produce and export any product, agricultural product, and it qualifies for preferential market in any of the AFCFTA market. There are specific products that are excluded. I will not talk about that. But at this point in time, food product is key. Then there is size of fiber. I'll talk about size of fiber.
I think Mr. Mondi lost his audio.
Hello?
I mean, I think Mr. Mondi lost his audio.
I think I don't
We
hear anything.
had an internet glitch. Myself,
Oh.
I was
Oh.
for a while.
Mhm.
So I think I think it was whole of Tanzania. Something happened.
Okay.
Yes. Let me check on him.
Mhm.
While we're waiting for Monday, I would like to welcome some of the questions. We could start typing out questions to be great. I'm so sorry about what happened. You please bear with us. We have an internet issue in Tanzania for I think almost a month. It just happens like everything shuts down.
Okay.
Um, mm.
Can you share with me the presentation that Mr. Mondi presented earlier? So once I have the recordings sent everyone, I can attach those.
Yes,
Mhm.
sure. I'm just checking on him because oh, so he's not even available in a normal call. Um, mm. So I will take these questions when we are sending out the recording and also the presentation. We'll answer questions. Thank you, Dede. We are going to answer the questions that have been sent in the chat box. I'm so sorry for what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, please forgive us, but I hope you got some things about Tanzania and that there's a great opportunity in investing in Tanzania, even in the portals that are available. Also, partnering with locals is very much advised by the government. The government is so wants to promote locals. So if you want to take any tender and being in a large part of winning the tender, it is good to look at the local companies to partner with them so that you can be able to get, for example, right now there's a big project for the East African gas pipeline, which they normally provide tenders of different things in the portal. So if you have any local company that you think you can partner with, you can also be able to win tenders and do business in Tanzania.
This is Kim. I have the question. Because he also mentioned about China investment, and as you know, Vietnam right now is compete with investment overseas. So in the presentation, number one, I did see any the risk from the when they come in any investment, any investor, they need to know about the risk. Okay. Secondly, I agree with the person here highlighted, Dede Monfission. They talk about like government support, how the government is supporting lakes. For example, the for electric, when they invest and or even the agricultural products. So how about the government policy? They will be taxed how much they give the tax, like in Vietnam, they for like tax free for certain year. So I want to know more about that. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm taking all the questions. And I think Mondi would be in a very good position to answer them properly because the organization that he's working on is like American Chamber of Commerce, but for Tanzania, TPSF is the one that is working around that. So I think I'll send him all the questions, and we will be able to reply them all in the emails.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oops, I want to turn up my.
Thank you all for joining, and I'm so sorry for what
Sure,
happened.
sure, sure. So it's okay. Maybe next time. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
so much. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
yeah. Thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lee, thank you. It's nice to see you, and Patricia and Gary. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Get
Nima.